Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome back to the Jamming Tower podcast. What do you mean we haven't been around for a while? I just don't think you've been listening. Welcome back as always. We're doing a podcast. It's me, Jester, Liam, Ace Trainer Jester if you're nasty. Also, my co-host, Mirdo.
Isn't that like your official title? Why would that be nasty?
Mirdo,
Hi, it's Mirdo!
Oh my god.
Did you miss us? I did. Hi.
I'm so glad we're doing a podcast again. So you might be wondering where it's been for the last 45 years. Basically, we were doing it, and then we stopped doing it, and we didn't restart doing it until now. So yes, we are back, and we've been away for a while, and I'd love to blame Mirdo, but realistically, it was my fault. I've just not been in a good place to make content at the moment. I've got my own business I'm running, there's other life events going on, so it's a lot going on right now. Finally, things are stabilizing. If you've watched the YouTube video that I put out the other day explaining my whole rebranding thing, a lot of that goes into what was happening and why I've been away from content generally, but it also means I've just not had time to do the podcast as well. And now that things are stabilizing with my new job, because I'm, again, running my own business, I'm like doing everything at the moment, it's just taken a while to get back to a stage where I can actually sit down and do stuff like this. I recorded my first vlog in like ages yesterday and stuff like that, and I'm getting back into streaming and all that good stuff. So yeah, with all that, and Murder was very upset, by the way, in the video that I didn't mention the podcast. I just completely forgot about it. The podcast is still going, and I do still want to do it. So I've got Murdo back. We're going to talk about some stuff. We're going to talk about Frankfurt results, even though we're a couple of weeks removed. We both went to Frankfurt and played a Pokemon trading card game, and we had an amount of fun that can't be quantified with just simple numbers. So, Murdo, how was Frankfurt for you?
Yeah, Frankfurt was a very interesting time. The tournament was pretty fun. The result, not really what I wanted it to be, but had a lot of fun with a lot of friends. The vibes were generally pretty good, considering everything else, and a lot of people just kind of like lacking behind what they wanted the results to be. But we had a lot of fun. Obviously, this was like the closest I ever had a regional, I think. First round, I tied due to the new timeout rule, which I imagine we might talk about again at another point, more broad terms. Second game, I won against Gardy because, by the way, I played Joldengo or Goldengo with Joltik.
I always call it Dangotik, and I think that just sounds way better than anything anybody says.
Yeah, Dangotik, I also prefer, honestly. Before this, I managed to win 3 cups in August with Goldengo with Typhlosion as a secondary attacker. Problem with that was that after I won like the tournament, it didn't feel as strong anymore, and like current meta kind of evolved in a way where you could play around it way better, and the only really good, like the only matchup it makes better is like the mirror really effectively. Bolt's also better with Typhlosion, but everything else consistency felt a bit worse and all that kind of stuff. So I went into a bit of a deck crisis. I tried out Zard, I tried out some other stuff, like Terra Box, but nothing really felt that comfortable. So I just went with like one of the most straightforward decks without being as bad as like Goldengo with Togekiss, because I feel like it feels a bit more toolboxy with Joltik. I realize it really isn't. It's very much just like it's a fork in the road at best. If like Goldengo Togekiss is the sledgehammer, then that's like, you know, taking a bend before using the sledgehammer. It is very much not a complicated deck. I don't know, Lim. Can you tell that I'm not a handy worker? I don't know analogies. No. It's like, you know, if the decision tree for Goldengo with Togekiss is like a straight line, then this is like it forks off once or twice, and that's about it. I did build my deck a bit more so I can play straight Goldengo if necessary, especially if you're going first. That's probably a bit better. But yeah, it felt pretty good all weekend. Ran into a straight Typhlosion, which is just kind of, you just kind of lose those, unfortunately, with any Goldengo build. If they don't break, it's really hard to beat. So that was just kind of unfortunate. Like, there's not much I can do there. lost against another Dengo Tick, we said? Yeah.
Dengo
That's
Tick.
much easier to pronounce as well. Yeah, lost against another Dengo Tick, which felt bad because, like, losing the mirror always kind of stings. Definitely felt I didn't play as good as I could have. And also just got kind of unlucky with draws as well, which is like a bit annoying with the deck because you feel like you can draw infinite cards, so you can just kind of like, oh, I could try to get this very unlikely out, and then you like full commit into it, and then you're like, oh, that was stupid. I had a lot of that was the only gold Dengo I played against, by the way. I played against 2 Gardevoirs, 3 Dragapult with different builds, 1 Bolt, and a Typhlosion. The other loss I had was against Pulsart, which that was the third match I lost, so that meant that I was eliminated from day 2, and that hurt a lot because game 3, I had the board basically set up. I had to start with Iron Hands. I went first, I believe, 2 Puffins, so I set up 3 Gimme Goals and a Joltik, had energy in hand. All I needed was a retreat. So it was like, awesome. So I'm just going to play all this out. The only thing I didn't play out was a Vessel in my hand. I was like, okay, I'm just going to bank on this guy Ioning me turn 1, because that's kind of what like Zartpool does. Yeah. And that didn't happen. And then they saw that I had jack shit going on. And then they started to Badulok me into my Iron Hands. And then I was like, oh, I'm not pulling anything. So I drew into like my Prime Catcher, but obviously under item lock can't use that. Mm-hmm. So the turns tick by, they get set up, damage counter on the Iron Hands until they do that 3 times. So they have 30 on there, Dragapult, 200, Jolt knockout, Joltik knockout, 3 prizes, and 10 on each Gimme Ghoul. So that's also all set up. And the very next, like, and they take the knockout 230. Next card is the Latios for the free. Like, god damn it. But yeah, I had so many outs on like an Arven, on Latios, on, I guess Balloon could have been an out eventually if I started attaching on active, but maybe I should have done that, but because on Arven I play one of the captures as well. So yeah, that game kind of broke me. Like the other losses I dealt with well, but that completely broke me. So for me, unfortunate event, I was like, okay, I still managed to win out from there and go 4-3-1. So I finished in 743rd and got 20 points at least, which isn't a lot, but it's 20 points. Which is very funny because I was, before the event, I was 1 point behind another German guy called Joa, who also had an amazing start to the season with cups and all that stuff. So they had 1 point more than me. And they are still 1 point ahead of me because they also got 20 points here. So a lot of my local friends managed to do quite well. Shout out to, like I said, Jonas did really well for their first tournament back, definitely. Lucas and Julian also had a pretty good run up until the end, I think. Nico, the other Nico as well. I think the last few rounds went a bit bad, but I think they had a win in until the last round. Lara had 2 win-ins, which I was really proud of. Really happy for them that they managed to grow so quickly into a really, really dangerous player in that sense, like to fight for that kind of stuff. And Marius, my big boy, my big baby boy, managed to get day 2, got the top 128, 118th, I believe, with Bolt, with a funny little water pond in there. So yeah, proud of him for getting that. Hey Liam, how did your tournament go? Sorry. You had also pretty good run for most of it.
Do you know what? The funniest part of this regional is that, like, it's the best performance I've had in over a year, which is depressing as hell. So
it's a pressure not there, dude.
It's interesting. Anyway, mentioning Joa from Mirdo, he was my round 5, and
yes,
it's very funny that we've ended up on the same points somehow. Anyway, I played Raging Bolt, and if you're watching me on Twitter, or if you know me on Twitter, I was crashing out the entire week trying to decide what deck to actually play. I was messing around with Raging Bolt. That wasn't going well for me with the Owls. I started trying Roaring Moon, which was good, but I realized quite quickly that's a best of 1 deck. Like, if I can catch somebody with a Poison Donk, it's grand. Otherwise, not a great deck. So I ended up going back to Raging Bolt and using Eric Ridgway's deck list. Yes, Eric Ridgway, who is the host of the Beach Court podcast. He posted a list that he did well with the locals, which didn't have any owls in it. He said, you should try this out. I'm like, cool, I'll give it a go. And I really enjoyed it. I actually find it like my favorite build of Raging Bolt to play in a good long time. So I ended up taking that. It was really good. I went 3-2-3 overall, which doesn't sound very good, but it's positive asterisk, as we call it. And like I said, it's the best I've done in over a year. I went to 5 majors last year, did not get a single point. I go to 1 major this year, and I'm only planning on doing this 1 major as well, because my season's kind of in a weird place with the business. I'm like, yeah, I'll do this because it's my birthday. It's my birthday weekend. I still want to do Frankfurt and stuff like that. I get to hang out with Mirdo, etc., etc. And I end up getting, like, points. It's insane. And ridiculously, for, like, up until round 5... I was looking at potentially making day 2 on 4-0-4. Like, it was ridiculous. Yeah. I was on track for it for a little bit, but no. So anyway, I'll run through my results quickly. Nothing too interesting, realistically. My first game was against a Charizard Pidgeot. That player went on to day 2, and I was their only tie the entire tournament. Fun fact. After that, I played against a Joltik deck, which... It's easy. Joltik box is relatively easy for Raging Bolt, especially if you've got Slitherwing. It just wins games for you. Next up was a tie against Dragapult Dusknoir. I was happy with that because it is one of my worst matchups, so that was all right. Next game was a tie against Terrabox. The player who was playing, he was a really nice guy. He was a poker dad. He was there for his kids while they were at the tournament, and he decided to play as well. And he was so apologetic about how slow he was playing. Like, he openly said, listen, I am a slow player. I'm really sorry. It's like, hey, we'll just play the game. I said to him, I'm here... For the first time ever playing Pokemon, I'm just here for fun. I'm not expecting any results. I don't care about my results. I'm just here to have a good time. And it ended in a tie, and I did say it to him at the end. Listen, full respect, I really enjoyed that game. You do need to speed up just a little bit, though. Kind of laughing at the same time. And he goes, listen, I know. It was like, again, really apologetic about it. And I said that more out of frustration that I think I could have won that game. I would say, because of the tie rules, at least 2 of the 3 games that I played, they would have resulted in a victory for somebody with the old rules. One of them definitely didn't. We set up and it was just like, we're not going to do anything here. But the other 2, I think, should have had a result. Whether it was a win or a loss for me, I don't really mind or care. But that should have had a resolution, and it just didn't. So, a bit frustrating, but it is what it is. Next up, as I mentioned, round 5 was against Joe playing Dragapult Dusknoir. Again, knew that was a bad matchup, and actually took 1 game against him, which felt pretty good. But the third game was just a hard brick. There was just nothing going on there, which was quite sad, and it was what it was. Number 6, that was against it says on Poker Rank, it says a Blaziken deck, but it wasn't. It was a Bento Box deck or a Tatsugiri, and it was really fun. He was such a fun player, and unfortunately I did donk him in both games. But we had a good chat afterwards. He gave me he rolled out like this whole sheet of buttons that he'd made, or badges, some people might know them as, little ones, out of Pokemon cards. And I said to him, oh, I'd love to take that one and that one because my partner loves Dragonite. And he was like, oh, no, you can take 2. That's fine. I was like, oh, that's awesome. So I took a photo of it, put it on Twitter. And the next day I walked past him and said, oh, how is it going? And blah, blah. He goes, oh, you were the one who mentioned me on Twitter. And I was like, what? He goes, yeah, I went to the casters to let them choose one. And they already knew who I was. They said, oh, you're the guy who played Bento Box. And he said, I'm not on Twitter. He was really confused. He said, no, somebody else tweeted about you. And it was like, oh, it was me. So I weirdly had the reach to get to the casters apparently, so they could see that see that the button layout. So that was really cool. So yeah, I had a good catch up with him afterwards. Round 7 was another Dragapult Dusknoir, 2 hard bricks, and I can't be too upset about it because up until that round the deck didn't really brick. I would say maybe 1 game otherwise it was a bit of a brick. It was just both games. I got my first attack off, but I had no follow-up, which happens. It is what it is, but like I said, I couldn't be upset. It was great. Round 8 was a mirror match, and I ended up winning. It was an owl build, which in the mirror match, the owl build does have the edge, I would say, especially if he gets to choose to go first, because you just have the Hoots, you've up to Noctowls, you get your Prime Catch, you take out your first 2 prizer, you just roll from there. But I managed to get the win there. I think that was a 2-1 victory. So, yeah, overall 3-2-3. Again, technically positive. 20 championship points somehow. It was all right. It It was good. And it's the first time in a while, actually, I've done all of the rounds in a tournament as well. I think EUIC I got quite close. Yeah, I did four rounds there as well. So
yeah, you only just scraped in as well for the points in Frankfurt, but
oh yeah, I was 10-17.
Yeah.
And the cutoff's what, 10-24?
I think so.
So yeah, by the skin of my teeth, I managed to get it.
inch or mile, right?
Yeah, it doesn't matter if we win by an inch or a mile. Winning's winning. Vin Diesel.
Exactly. Winning 20 points.
20 points. I mean, again, more than I got in my entire last year. So, listen, I'll take it. Is there anything else you want to talk about with Frankfurt?
So obviously we had a couple of rule changes. We're going to talk about like timeout stuff at a point, but so what they also did, which I like on paper, which I loved more if they actually told us in advance, was that we are now on 8 rounds, or like technically there could be 9 rounds on day 1, but I think we need like 4,000 people for that.
Start with the first thing. They're no longer referring to it as day 1 and day 2. They're referring to it as phase 1 and phase 2.
Yeah, I mean that's a minor change, but yeah, it's an interesting one. It's technically not day 2 anymore, which is gonna take a while to get used to. But yeah, it's now phase 1, phase 2, because so we are now on 8 rounds, phase 1, 6 rounds, phase 2. So basically, it took 1 round from phase 1 and added it to phase 2, which I don't dislike. The thing that I wish they would have told us in advance, because we reserved the restaurant. Like a table, is that 1 round of phase 2, like the first round, will be played on the end of day 1 or on the first day.
Yeah.
So after the 8 rounds, the first round of phase 2 will be played right after, which I'm also assuming caught out a couple of people. I obviously don't have any like proof, but I assume that some people went out the building and then realized that, oh, I have to play still.
It was very
because
weird.
Also the announcements were also kind of bad for most of the day.
Yeah, it was weirdly announced because it was announced on the day, in the moment. Like, it wasn't a case of a tweet went out yesterday or the day before saying this is what's going to happen. It wasn't like communicated to us in any way. There was no emails or anything. We all sat down, we all shuffled up, everyone got set up. Good, hello, Pokemon TCG players, blah, blah. Then the announcement. And you're like, wait, what? We could be playing 9 games or 9 rounds in one day now? What? Why was this? Why did nobody mention this before?
Yeah, I could also, like, I had to have that been told by other people afterwards, because when I was sitting there, I didn't hear that. I didn't understand it.
The tannoy system was really bad.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like listening to a tannoy system from like the 80s in a train station. Like, it was awful. So,
yeah, I think organization wise, there were like, I really liked the venue. It was really large. We had a lot of toilets, all very good. I think organization wise, there was a couple of stuff to improve, a couple of things to improve. Mostly, I think efficiency was kind of bad, which is why the time rule change didn't feel effective, because we were still waiting for 30-40 minutes.
Yeah. The whole point of the time change was supposedly to like speed rounds up, because people were taking like 15-20 minutes to resolve plus returns. Now they're giving us 10 minutes, which is great, but between rounds you'd look at overtime and it would still say plus 30, nearly plus 40. You're like, this is what was happening before. This hasn't helped. Now, what I have heard, it wasn't as bad in Monterey, and people have said in Pittsburgh it wasn't as bad either. So whether that was just like first regional ruling out, but it's the same process. I don't understand why it would take any longer. It's still checking all slips and things like that. So I don't know.
I think I obviously don't have any insight on that, but because we had a lot of things where it's like, oh, that's weird. I ended really early and my result isn't put in like on the systems, right? I feel the bottleneck was over there somehow. And I hope they can fix it for future events. Like, I don't really know how it works. Like, I know that you can basically scan the match slips and put it in that way. I don't know if that was like a technological issue, or if that even was the reason why we had delays, or if there was like a couple of issues with the technology. No, I already said that.
Well, I said to you, didn't I? That round
like,
where
I don't know. Like, what I meant is, I don't know if that was like a technological issue of an issue of efficiency maybe with the staff. I think also something that didn't change or fix is that we are still having mid-round deck checks, that we're still having very long judge appeals because somebody calls a judge and the judge has no idea what's going on. Like even for simple stuff, like a friend of mine said, there's like, this should be a very simple fix, but the judge first didn't listen properly, like didn't understand what was going on, then called a different judge because they couldn't like officiate it, and so that took like 6 minutes. So if you have people just with time extensions, and if it's a more complicated one, that's going to be like 10-20 minutes if it's bad, then obviously those, if they don't play to the end plus time extension, then obviously that's going to take a long time. I think the issues were more in that direction.
I know with the judge stuff now, as of last season, I don't know if it's carried through, but apparently the absolute limit now for added time is 16 minutes. So even if you've got a 10-minute, well, you have to have at least 16-minute judge call. You're basically doubling that, aren't you? So if it's argument's sake, say it does take it to 16 minutes, and then it is a 16-minute extension, that's 32 minutes right there. Like added on that everyone else is gonna have to wait. So again, I don't know if that carried on. It was mentioned on Twitter quite a lot last year, and I don't remember anyone else mentioning it after one particular regional. Chris Shemensky might have mentioned it, I think.
Yeah.
I'll see if I can find the tweet.
Like, obviously, I am very grateful for all the judges that we have, and I am aware how much work it is. But I have noticed as well that like, a lot of them, like, I guess we don't know what to say.
Are you trying to phrase this in a way that doesn't sound offensive?
I'm trying to phrase it in a way where I'm not trying to blame the judges, because obviously it's a lot of organizational. There we go. Like, there's a lot of just moving parts, and like obviously like even people that aren't as aware of the rules, we need those, because it's very much not necessarily an issue of we only need to have people that are overly qualified in the rules, like very confident in the rules. Like we also need just people present.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
I mean, the problem, I think, and I don't know.
I think there is a general issue with how judge calls are handled. Maybe in certain instances, I think there could be like a more efficient way to skip a couple steps, or to have people be more confident in making judge calls and then calling someone else over. But I do recognize it's a difficult choice to make, and it's a difficult there's a lot of people will never be happy with how people are handling the judge calls.
I think the judge calls, like, that is the biggest bottleneck. Like the vast majority of judge calls I've seen, there's no actual confidence in any call, and I don't know if things necessarily always need signing off by somebody else, but if that's the case, that always seems to take forever. Like, it's never a case of this happened, we need a resolution. The judge goes, okay, let me go check with somebody, and then they disappear for like 5 minutes. You're like, why didn't that first person come and deal with the problem then? Because you don't know how to deal with it. If you do, also you should just have the confidence to just say, this is what the situation is. And I think I was going to say before I cut myself off, basically, as someone who's actually passed the judge test, I think it's quite easy to not know anything and pass the judge test, because you can just Google the answers and just be a judge. And if you can just fake it till you make it through like doing pre-releases and maybe like second judging cups until you're qualified to do regionals, I think you can get to the regionals without actually being a judge, if that makes sense. Like, you haven't done anything properly the entire time. If you've not been studying up on what you need to learn, you know, part of the Professor Discord, there's constantly new stuff to be checking. There's constant new rules to be updated on. There's all kinds of things. I think a lot of people don't do that. And I'm not saying it's all judges, so don't come at me when I say this, but I think some judges see it as a potential holiday rather than an actual job, if that makes sense. Because it is. I'm friends with quite a few judges. They take it very seriously. They are constantly up on their stuff. They know they're going in doing a job. And I think some people just go into it going, and again, I will say this about some shop owners. They register for things to do with like official Pokemon events because it's free stuff for them that
Oh,
they can
absolutely.
then sell on. It's again, it's not going to be all judges, it's not going to be all shop owners, but that is something that happens, and I do wonder how much of that is starting to like creep up as far as judges are concerned in major events, because we need more judges now. So maybe the floodgates are opening just a little bit too much on less experienced judges. But how else do you get experience without doing the judging? You know, there's a balance there.
I mean, I think it should be like, I wish there was a bit of a balance. Like, I feel like the right way, because I feel like it really depends on who you're dealing with. I think if it's an unexperienced judge dealing with experienced players, I think as the judge you can afford to just make a call and see if the players agree that that's correct, and if not, then call someone in. And I mean, it's always like, it's being a judge. I believe like the main part of that word is that the only part of the word is judge from judging. Where it's not necessarily like, oh, this is the rules, this is what we're doing. Like, I think a lot of it is also like not negotiating, but mediating and trying to find the right way of dealing with it. Obviously, at a regional, you have to be a bit more strict than at a local event.
It was.
If I'm like, I've judged cups before, I've judged challenges. I've just helped people out at like pre-releases and stuff. And like, depending on what level it is, you're gonna be less severe with your rulings, or like less strict. And I think especially if you are like, if you have two players that are fairly experienced and a judge that isn't as experienced, I think as the judge you can just say, okay, this is what the ruling is. This is my ruling, and if both players agree, then you can just be like, all right, that's that done. Because that's kind of the issue that I have a lot of times when I call over a judge, which isn't that often, luckily enough. But when it happens, it's like, oh, yeah, I guess this is going to be double price penalty or whatever. And like, I just need a judge to make the ruling and then be like, all right, cool. Yeah. And then it's like, I call judge over, explain the situation. And then they call someone else over, and I have to explain the situation again.
Yep.
And obviously, sometimes there also needs to be like a translator if there's somebody that doesn't speak English, or if there's a bit of a barrier. But like, I think judges need to be more confident, also need to be made more confident into just making calls and not like calling somebody over until it's necessary to do so.
Well, it's a weird one as well, because when I had that judge call in Stuttgart last year about that like slightly curved card, they had someone come over, we explained the issue, then they went and got somebody else, we explained the issue again, and this, you'd think the person they were going to get was a more experienced person. The person I was playing was a very experienced player, from what I know, what I've been told. And for some reason, the second judge decided to show what the card was. And the player went, no, don't show me. I shouldn't have that information. But like, why is the more experienced judge doing something they shouldn't do? Like, I don't understand the hierarchy with these judges if like that's stuff they're doing.
I mean, it's a difficult one, because it's like, obviously you want very like uniform judgments on, for example, if you make the same issue, let's say for argument you make it every round the same issue, and you have like 8 different judges come over. Obviously, if you make the same mistake more than once, you're gonna get more penalized, but that's not the point I'm making. Like, if you have 8 different judges, you want at least 7 out of 8 times be the same judging at the end of it outcome. Well, like at least 7 out of 8. But like, I think it's very difficult to prepare every single judge for every single outcome.
We've got a weird parallel, haven't we, with Formula 1, where one of the biggest issues people complain about is the inconsistency in penalties. Because
absolutely.
You'll see like a driver do something and they'll be like, cool, that's a racing incident somehow. Then another driver will do the exact same thing, sometimes on that same driver previously, and suddenly it's a 5-place grid penalty next race, and you're like, wait, why? And then then you get the conspiracy theories of people going, oh, look at the stewardess this week. You know what I mean? And it's just, there is like inconsistencies. And I don't think I've personally run into that with judges in Pokemon. Like, if I know a situation has happened, I generally know what the outcome is. Although we were talking about it earlier over WhatsApp, like we were talking about how somebody we know definitely should have got penalized, and we've been penalized for significantly less offensive things. It's like,
Yeah.
Maybe I am starting to see like a little bit of inconsistency, but like from what I've seen, generally speaking, it's been a case of like, this is the outcome. I'm like, yes, that's exactly what I expected. Why is it taking 3 people to come to this conclusion?
Like for me, it's very much like I haven't really dealt with inconsistent judging. For me, it's more of an issue of a thing of like, okay, I've been playing since 2016, so it's like, oh, I feel like I've got a penalty where it's like, oh, that's harsh, isn't it? Like for what it was, for what the incident, I didn't remember, but like there's a couple of incidents where I'm like, oh, come on, that's a bit harsh. Like I wish you would have like, yes, in the rules it says that this is the penalty for it, but I wish it wasn't because it feels really, really harsh. Like especially with double price penalty, like because like it's supposed to be a thing where it's like double price penalty is not a game loss or like significantly less than a game loss, but it doesn't really feel like it at this point. Like
No.
with how the game develops, like a double price penalty a lot of times equates to a game loss because this the 2-2 race is just too important most. I don't really know what the solution is here for that kind of stuff, and also for the judging issue as a whole, or if that's even the bottleneck that we think it is. Maybe it just feels like it. I think also deck checking just in the rounds feels incredibly stupid. I don't know why they do that. Like just while we set up, why are you, or like in between, I've been pulled for deck checks in between rounds and I'm like, why would you do this? Why would you not like see if like if you want to do like a spot deck check like see if people are signing their slips and then get the decks.
That's what I was about to say.
Or at the very beginning when people find the tables maybe, but like in between, like I've had deck checks, like they're pretty quick about, like they're done in 5 minutes in and out, like, or 6, maybe 10. But yeah, that's also like something where it's like, oh yeah, you get a time extension now because we just kind of broke up your game, and
it would make way more sense to catch people as they're coming back with the slips, because people with the slips generally have won a game, so it's like, we need they're the best people to check, because it's like, okay, did you win legitimately? You're not really being questioned on that, but they're the best people to catch because they've just won a game. You're not really cheating with a deck then losing, are you? Let's put it that way. You're cheating to win. So if someone comes up with a win slip, you just have a judge or staff member there go, okay, would you mind going to deck check? They hand you a slip of paper or whatever. You go to deck check, you get your deck checked, then you're out. And you're already out of the round then, so there's no need for a time extension, there's no messing around, there's no faffing around. It's just done. I feel like not an end of round, but an end of the game, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
End of the set. That's it. The end of the set.
Yeah.
Then that makes way more sense.
I think there's definitely an argument to be made for, like, if you are in phase 2 or top 8 or whatever, to have spot deck checks in between rounds. Like if we are talking about the money spots, I think there's definitely an argument to be made there. But then there's also the tournament's much smaller, so that the delay is going to be much less.
Decks get checked at top cut anyway.
Oh yeah. No, I mean, like, if you want to do in between rounds deck checks, I think that's the place to do them, if at all. Like at the top tables.
Yeah, fair enough. But yeah, that wasn't exactly how Frankfurt went. That's how we felt about judges and judge calls and deck lists. So that's pretty cool. That became a whole conversation by itself. But a good job. I'm proud of you.
Yeah, that's good.
So, with Frankfurt out of the way, we're not going to talk about Pittsburgh because the finals was like nothing realistically. Like, there's nothing really to talk about other than effectively drama. So, without me rekindling the fire that I set on Twitter, I'm just going to say it was a finals and Zoroark won. God of War didn't. That's cool. Other than that, we've got some new games that got announced while we've been away as well. Mirdo, I don't know how much detail you want to go into each of these, so I'll just say Pokemon Champions. Okay. I'll just say Pokemon Champions exists. That's for VGC. That's going to be the game that VGC is competed in as of, I think, next season? Pokemon Champions will be the VGC software used for Worlds 2026. Starting in 2026, Pokemon Champions will be used as the VG software for the Pokemon World Championships and for Championship Series events leading up to Worlds. Pokemon can be bought from Pokemon Home, brought from Pokemon Home into Pokemon Champions to assemble powerful teams. I think functionally it doesn't actually transfer the Pokemon. I think it copies the data. So if you've got Greg the Decidueye that you love and you've had since Sun and Moon that is all ready for VGC, it'll make a copy of Greg. I don't think it takes Greg out of Home. I believe is how it works. Cross-platform support will also permit players to compete on either Nintendo Switch systems or mobile devices, which will look interesting in a regional and plus situation, I think.
I do wonder because Pokemon Go is obviously only on phones, and they provide phones for Go tournaments. So I mean in VGC obviously that's turn-based, so like delay, different speeds and stuff are not going to be that big of an issue. But I wonder if that also means that if people bring their own phones, I'm not sure. But I guess it means that you can bring your phone or play on your Switch.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, as far as recruiting Pokemon is concerned, if you haven't got it on Home, I guess, trial recruitment, have a Pokemon join your team for a trial period. You can battle with it right away to test whether it'll suit your strategy. You can use trial recruitment once a day without using victory points, also known as VP. VP, or victory points, I believe is earned in-game. It's not a paid currency. So, you get victory points for winning victory points.
Sounds like a possible...
Permanent recruitment. Once you find a Pokemon that's a good match for you, it can be added to your team permanently. To do so, you'll need to use victory points. Train your Pokemon. Tailor your team's skills in the training feature of Pokemon Champions. By using VP, you can hone your Pokemon's attack, defense, and other stats, so your EVs, IVs, etc. You can even alter their abilities and moves, customize your team to match your battle style. Though remember, you can't train Pokemon during their trial recruitment period. So basically, what the game is letting you do is if you have Greg the Decidueye who is ready to just jump into battles and be part of the team, you can just copy him. Everything is ready to go. And I think that also means you can do that in any game. So, for example, Scarlet and Violet, it's very easy to get a Pokemon ready for VGC. It's very easy to mess with the EVs, IVs, etc., etc. If you don't have that, / you're starting directly from Pokemon Champions, you can do it all within the app itself or the game itself, which I think is a really cool way to go about it. So it basically caters to both new players and older players. We've got We've got Mega Evolution confirmed for ranked battles as well. Under the first set of rules for ranked battles held in Pokemon Champions, Pokemon will be able to undergo Mega Evolution, get ready for intense battles between Mega Evolved Pokemon. I believe they've already showed Terra Pokemon as well. So I don't know what's going on with that and whether there'll be regulations that are crossovers. By the way, we should say, we are going to talk a bit more about VGC and other Pokemon stuff in these podcasts from now on. Neither of us are very experienced with VGC currently. So if we say anything that doesn't make sense and you are a VGC player and go, wait, that's not how that works, listen, just tell us. We're learning. I'm literally like going through it all at the moment. That seems like the main point, realistically. The intro, again, get ready to experience everything you love about Pokemon battles all in one place in Pokemon Champions. This new battle-focused game will feature familiar mechanics such as Pokemon types, abilities, and moves, creating an environment conducive to, big word of the day, conducive to rich and varied strategies for new and experienced trainers alike. And it's interesting as well, because they've clearly brought this out as a cross-platform thing. And whether it's going to be cross-generational is also interesting, because with this game, they now have the freedom to not include such a... What's the phrase I'm trying to think of? They don't need everything being within the new generation of game. So Sun and Moon, it needed the VGC element. Scarlet and Violet, it needed the VGC element. The next game, Gen 10, doesn't need it as much if Champions is the way they're going forward. Now, I'm sure they'll still have the ways to train EVs, IVs, swap abilities, etc., all within game. That makes sense. And then you can transfer them over. That's the whole point of Pokemon Home. That's the whole point of, like, making things forever, basically, with Pokemon. But they could quite easily have Champions be their VGC game / app for, like, in perpetuity now. Like, they never need to move away from this. Maybe there's a Pokemon Champions 2 at some point. But realistically, they could just stay with this and it could be evergreen. And it'd be absolutely fine to do that. I've said that's a good idea. I've heard podcasts talk about it and say, no, they won't do that. It'll just be for, like, the 3 years before, or this is basically a holdover. So it'll exist for this year. Then Gen 10 comes out next year and they'll swap to that. I don't think that's the case. I think they'll stick with Champions for a while now because it just makes sense to. You wouldn't make all this stuff in a game without it being what you're carrying forward, because Legends ZA does have some element of multiplayer online and there's ranked involved, but I don't know if it's PvP. And it's also different because there's no abilities or anything like that as well. And we will talk about ZA a little bit as well in a little bit. But I think Champions is just like the platform for VGC going forward. I think that just makes sense.
I mean, I think what they envisioned it as is like what Showdown is currently.
Yeah.
But official. But it's not really, because in Showdown you could just generate teams and don't need to bother with all the monetization of it all, I guess, to what it's probably going to boil down to. Yeah, I mean, I'm very interested to see how it's going. While you were talking, explaining all the features, I was also thinking about the logistics about it, especially in the VGC context, because I just thought about, so what we're currently doing is, so back in the DS days, 3DS and normal DS, you'd have people connect via infrared or Bluetooth, I'm not sure. And that was a bit of an annoying nightmare because people were obviously sitting close to each other. So it was a bit annoying to find each other a lot of times. We then moved on to the current system, which is the switches. It sits on a dock, which is like fixed installed on the table. And I believe consoles connect that way. So it's like a cable setup. And now that we have crossplay as a potential, which I assume the Pokemon company would love to utilize to get more people to participate.
Mm-hmm.
How the hell is that going to work? Because Switch 1 and 2, both are going to be able to play Champions. Switch 1 and Switch 2 aren't compatible with each other's stand, as far as I know.
Pause.
Yep.
Switch 1 isn't confirmed.
Is it not? That's weird.
Not as far as I'm aware. Although I can't see anything on here that says otherwise. Cross-platform battles. Right. It does say Nintendo Switch systems and mobile devices.
Yeah.
So presumably it'll be on a Wi-Fi situation, but it'll be
So
it'll be coded, won't it? So that's all it'll be.
But yeah, so that means that, let's say for argument, we had 700. I think we had 700 masters in video game. So 700 people have to log into the same Wi-Fi and play a game over it. And possibly with phones and different providers and different like ages of phones, different processing speeds, and with consoles as well. I think it's gonna, like, the first few tournaments are gonna be a nightmare. I feel like I don't know how they're gonna make that move smoothly. I know Go finds a way, but there's like 100 people there, and I think that's like, they have like a dedicated Wi-Fi, 100 people, probably have a strong repeater thing. It's probably fine.
I mean,
but if we're talking 700 people and probably more, if we have bigger tournaments, because this is obviously meant to pull more people in, and also if people don't have to buy consoles anymore, just need to bring their phone to play, then obviously this is going to be more interesting for people. If we're talking 1,000 people,
I think they just do what they do for Go, just on a bigger scale. That's all they'll do.
Yeah, but I am worried if that's gonna work out.
We'll find out. I think they'll find a way. Like, you can still do potential for local play with Bluetooth. I think Bluetooth would be absolutely fine, because you just go Bluetooth, enter code, go from there, kind of thing. Like challenging people across the table.
I guess Bluetooth is a way. I wonder if, I mean, this is gonna out me as somebody who doesn't understand technology a lot, but I wonder if phone, I mean, I guess different phones are compatible, so I guess a Switch and a phone will also be compatible. Yeah, I guess Bluetooth is probably the way then. If I had to guess, it's probably going to be like because we also had on Switch, I remember the system we had for raids back in the Sword and Shield days, where you had to put in a code and then somebody else got the code, and then you can do battles in the same way. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that might be the way to do it, like via Bluetooth, and maybe like the code you use, like the players use, is on the match slip. So like because obviously if everyone puts 3, 2, 1, that's not going to work, right?
I think
so.
The solution
you have like a random generator, so everybody gets a different code, or like the table number maybe.
Yeah, I was gonna say you shouldn't rely on the match slips, because match slips don't always show up straight away.
Yeah, I think table number is probably make most.
You either go table number, or each table has just a code on it that, like, that's what you put in.
Yeah, yeah.
There's
But
a couple of solutions.
I think if it is Bluetooth system, which I hope it is, because if like I said, if everybody has to log into the same online, that's going to be a nightmare. I mean, there's always hiccups with the video games at the first few tournaments if there's a new console. I remember the nightmares we had with the 3DS. I can ask, maybe we can talk about it with my friend Marius, because he used to play VGC a bit. But I remember there were like nightmares with, I think, Oras and XY. I think there was a couple of issues with that at the beginning, which they managed to sort out. But yeah.
Okay, moving on from champions, we can talk about Pokopia, or down in Pokémon, as I keep calling it. This is, man,
makes me so happy.
There's 3 games. There's a Venn diagram. It's Minecraft. It's Animal Crossing. It's
Harvest Moon, I think. No, Harvest Moon, the other one.
Stardew Valley.
Stardew Valley, that's one.
Dragon something Builders. I forgot the name that somebody compared it to.
Dragon Quest
Builders. Yeah, it's. I don't think there's too much to talk about right now, because if you played any of those games, I think you're going to be quite. It's
so
quite
cute now.
It's interesting. You'll know what you're doing, basically. I might play the trailer underneath this just so you guys can see it. But yeah, it does look good. As someone who's recently got quite obsessive with Animal Crossing, I think I'm going to enjoy this game. I'm very prepared as my new career to be a cozy streamer and exclusively playing Pokopia for the next, I don't know, 3 years. But no, it looks really good. Basically, you are a Ditto that takes the form of a human. It's not as creepy as it sounds. And you meet other Pokemon, you learn their skills, and then you use their skills to improve the land. So the examples they give is Bulbasaur with Leafage, which, by the way, Bulbasaur can't learn Leafage. There is no iteration of Bulbasaur in any game that can learn Leafage.
Calling the police.
So, interesting. Anyway, so that means you can spread the grass around. You've got Squirtle, that I think it's Water Gun, but you can learn Water Gun to water your plants. Stuff like that. It's basically meeting Pokemon or villagers, learning their abilities, and then using that to improve your world. Whether there's an end game, whether there's a goal or anything like that, other than it just being a cozy game, who knows? But yeah, it does look really fun.
It's definitely one of those games that I'm very excited for, and then play for 2 days and then never touch again. But it looks very cozy. I think this one might work a bit better for my brain, because Animal Crossing, I fell off quite quickly. This one feels a bit more like, oh, there's like stuff to work for, less like you make your own fun. It's more like, okay, here's a progression with all the Pokemon and stuff like that. And obviously there's a Wingull in it, and it goes, and I'm very excited for that. But yeah, the art style looks great. I think the idea is really cool. I'm very looking forward to at least giving it a go. Like I said, I'm expecting myself to fall off in a day or so. But yeah.
As someone, again, who's been playing Animal Crossing recently, Animal Crossing is a terribly designed game. There is so many things wrong with this game. I'm working through it at the moment. I'm having a great time, somewhat, but like, why is the best way to play the game to cheat? I don't understand. It's like, oh, you can only build 1 bridge at a time. That's great, Tom Nook, but I'm trying to build like 3 to like make a project happen. That's great. It'll take you 3 days. Why? Why do I have to build a flimsy axe every time I want a stone axe? Why doesn't that just naturally progress? Like, I've unlocked the axe. Why can't I just make the axe? I shouldn't need to go stick, rock. I should be able to go stick, rock, piece of wood into the flip. It's terrible. Every time I play the game, I'm like, this game is designed terribly. It's like it's fighting you. It doesn't want to be played. It's just, how can we make... There's no area looting. It's like, oh, I want to collect all these apples. Okay, you can do that 1 by 1, and the animation takes 3 seconds. Why? Why can't I just hold the button and go along and collect them all? That doesn't... Oh, it's such a badly designed game. It's horrible. I'm addicted.
The way it's designed is like, it feels like like there's games that are designed that you can pick them up and just play like a few minutes every day and then come back next day. Like Animal Crossing New Horizons specifically feels a lot like it's not necessarily designed like you can pick it up and just play it 20 minutes. It's designed that you only play it every day 20 minutes.
It's annoying as hell, Mirdo.
It's specifically designed to not be
I log on, right? I log on in the morning at like, I don't know, 7 o'clock. You know, I'm in bed, I've got Netflix on, I'm probably watching Raw or SmackDown, depending on which day it is. great, I've got a good 2 hours here before my first dog walk, and I'm like, cool, I can just spend a bit of that time on Animal Crossing and then go do some other stuff. I spent all of that time in Animal Crossing. I don't know what I've done. I have no idea. I've got nothing to show for it. I've got an extra 10,000 bells for some reason. But like, what have I done? What am I doing with my life? I'm more interested in picking fruit off trees every 3 days than I am actually cleaning up my own house. I hate it. I hate the game so much, but I can't stop playing it. Why are turnips the stock exchange? I've got Mirdo. I had turnip rooms. I've got 3 rooms in my house, right? I don't use any of them. I've got the main room and the 3 rooms. I don't use any of them. One room has a toilet in it. That's it. The rest of them, on Sunday, I filled up one of them with nothing but floor turnips. And then the other room was half full with turnips. Because I'm just like, I need to make the money so I can buy bridges. But the bridges I can only buy once a day. So I've just got all this money to get like, I don't know, 8 or 9 bridges. But I can't see those bridges until the next time turnips are available to buy anyway. So I didn't even need to do all this investment right now. It doesn't make any sense. I could have spent this money elsewhere. I could have spent real life money on real life things that are actually helpful to my life. But instead, I'm buying friggin' turnips with bells and then watching the price slowly decrease and slowly decrease. Meanwhile, people on Reddit are like, come to my island. You can sell turnips for 600 bells. This was 3 hours ago. It's ticked over now. It's not worth 600 bells anymore, Reddit. That's useless. Why are you not helping me more, Reddit? Anyway, so
podcast, by the way.
I'm really excited about Pokopia.
Yeah, me too.
If there's a leopard berry stock exchange, I'm going to scream.
Could you imagine?
Yes.
If it's like it's literally just Animal Crossing with a Pokemon skin on it.
I can imagine it, and that's the problem.
To be fair, Gulliver and Wingle are very similar, so you know.
So anyway,
like what's his name in English again?
It's Gulliver, yeah. I'm prepared to spend 2 hours every stream playing Pokopia. And finally, on our list of games to talk about, on the list of things I've got over here that I'm not stalling for time, Legends ZA. That is coming out next month as of time of recording and publishing. It's not going to take me 2 months to publish this. A lot of megas revealed. We won't go through them
2
all.
months? It's coming out next month.
Yes, I know. That's why I said it's coming out next month.
Oh.
If I published it in 2 months, then it won't be coming out next month, will it? It would have been out last month.
So
time is crazy, but it does work. It's linear.
Time is crazy. The clock's a circle.
You're a circle. We will do a podcast next week ahead of Legends EA talking about all the megas and how we feel about the new designs and stuff. I think that'll be much more interesting than trying to cram it in here. But of all the things that have been revealed for Legends EA so far, Mirdo, not including the megas, how are you feeling about the gameplay so far? Why do you look like somebody else when you do that? That's so weird.
What? Do you look different?
You look like someone I know from the UK when you do that. You're squashing you're squashing the German out of your face. If you're watching this on audio, by the way, just go to this timestamp on the YouTube video to see what Mirdo did with his face, I guess.
Yeah, Liam called me circle, so I rounded my face.
Okay. Anyway,
as you do.
Legends EA.
Anyway, how do I feel about Za?
Za.
Za. Also what I call pizza.
Za.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why I'm excited for it, but I am. I think I like ranking systems and league stuff in video games. It's just that kind of like that stuff that tickles my brain. So I'm very excited for that kind of stuff because like there's the whole Z to A thing where it's like, oh, you start in League Z and then you move your way up, and which is basically I try to not like spoiling myself too much. So I think there's been more trailers, but some of them I just kind of skipped over or glossed over because I didn't want to.
I've avoided quite a few of them as
well. But as far as I understand, that's kind of the game's whole story mode or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of I like urban settings, I like city settings, so that's all just very much more interesting to me than Legends Arceus was, which I have but I never touched and didn't play it yet. Yeah, it's just like I haven't had a Pokemon game that I enjoyed in a long while. Well, I mean, or at least that I felt very much like very strongly towards. I really enjoyed Violence Scarlet Violet when it ran properly. But like I like the world, I like the new Pokemon, all that kind of stuff I like. but the core gameplay of the round-based battle, I'm like kind of meh on. So obviously Legends has a different battle system. It has a bit more story-based stuff. It's a bit more classic RPG and like with action stuff. Yeah, that kind of stuff.
The thing that people always joked about with Legends Arceus was like it was Dark Souls of the Pokemon game, which is very much hyperbole, but I get what people were going for. Like people were joking about it, but it was kind of you were dodging attacks, and there was like an actual like you said RPG / action element to it, which I think was much more interesting. I think the story was like it's whatever. It's a bit of a weird one.
Yeah, I mean,
but I enjoyed playing through it all the same. And to be fair, there's not really many games I don't enjoy the story of when it comes to Pokemon. Like a lot of people go, "Oh, this game had the best story." That and I'm like, it's all bad guy wants to take over the world. Like
yeah, basically RPG for children. Yeah,
I mean, it's not revolutionary.
I thought the story for Scarlet Wild was fairly fine. Obviously, the game had different issues. Story was alright. I think it touched on a bunch of good beats, but I think it had more potential. But yeah, Pokemon obviously you don't really play for the story most of the time.
No.
Which is why like a lot of the DS era I don't really want to go back to at this point, because it's not really that much except for the gameplay, and I don't really enjoy the gameplay that much. But like I said, I like all the new ideas. I'm very big. I usually play the new games because of the new designs and because of all the new worlds, and they've gotten better at that. And especially with Legends, I think there's a lot to like there, and I'm pretty excited for that. I like the new megas that they showed, most of them. Actually, I think I like all of them. I'm not really a big Pokemon hater. I think there was. I need to check which new megas we have, because I do remember one that I didn't like, but
I mean, the only one that I didn't like was Victory Bell.
Yeah, but you're wrong, so that's
your opinion is wrong. Shut up, idiot.
Right. Did we want to talk about all of them real quick, or like run through them?
We can run through them. I was gonna like kind of save it for another podcast though.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure. But yeah, all the new designs I thought were pretty cool. Oh yeah, I didn't really care that much for Mega Dragonite, but I don't think it's bad.
No.
But yeah, it's yeah, I'm very much looking forward. I know there's also a lot more megas that we don't know yet, so I'm looking forward to learning about those. Just through gameplay. Probably at this point we are 3 weeks away now. Yeah, first day the 16th of October is the release date, so about 3 weeks. I'm probably like, if there's more reveals, I hope they don't do the thing which Nintendo loves to do, where they just show off everything. Like if we get one more, like they did, if we don't, like I do want to mention, I do like the way they showed off the mega so far, where it's like, oh, it's 1 week, like it's just like, oh, here's a teaser on Tuesday, for example.
It's a unique
and then it's a trailer
isn't
on
it?
Friday.
It's a unique
I think it's a
cool
one. Yeah. Except for the ones they did on the at the direct, but I thought it was fine. But the Victory Bell got its own little thing, and obviously Malamar got a big thing. Got quite a big build up.
I mean, they all got their own unique one. Dragonite is technically still unique, because none of the others have been in game. Dragonite was unique. You had the wrestling one for Holuchi, which was fantastic. I love that so much. The Victory Bell was like a found footage kind of thing. I didn't watch it, but I remember seeing screenshots. Then I didn't see the one for Malamar, but there was a whole like weird My Friend Malamar campaign, which was bizarre.
It was really fun, like, because they basically did it like they really played into the whole hypnosis, into the whole mind control kind of aspect. So I thought it was really cool. It felt a bit like it's not quite there, but it felt a bit like the days of I know you were never into that kind of stuff, I don't think, but like the days of Smash reveals, where it was like, oh, just any week there could be like a new reveal or like a new trailer. It's just a bit of a surprising thing, and like it's oh, I wonder what's the next thing, and like every trailer is unique, and it's like it shows the characters, or like like in the Smash sense, it would be like, oh, here is like a little teaser to the franchise, or like it was always like when it's a new character, a lot of times it was like, oh, there's different points of the trailer where you could get who this is, where it's like usually there's like one point where it's like where everybody goes, oh, but it's like if you're a turbo nerd, you could go to like at the very beginning, and I thought that was just really cool. I'm talking about Smash, not Pokemon now.
I mean,
anyway,
my tangent about Animal Crossing was already off the rails, so
much longer too. Yeah, no, I've missed, like, it was only like a small taste of it, but I have missed this whole in the internet age where everything leaks and everything just is public knowledge as soon as it gets conceived, basically.
yeah.
I have really enjoyed these nuggets of surprise and like good build up and fun little thing where it's like, oh, there's like, it's probably just some marketing thing, but like there's somebody who had fun with this idea and like had a good idea. And I thought, like, especially with the Malamar thing, it was really like, it was all over the place, but I thought it was really fun to have like just this very unique thing where people were like, oh, I have an idea, there's somebody with an idea and we are going all in on it. I thought it was really cool. Similar with the other revealed ones, where with the Halucha they had like this whole, oh, there's going to be a wrestling fight going on at the end of the week on Friday or whatever, and like had this poster with I think Machamp, that's the one. Machamp. It's the eating Machoke.
It's the Garchomp, Machamp.
Oh, that's so much better.
Machamp.
Machamp. And like what you said with the Victory Bell, yeah, I felt it just felt very fun to have like this whole surprise factor again.
Yeah, I haven't got much more to expand on other than what
a bit of a childhood wonder, I guess.
The Legends for me, again, I loved Legends Arceus. It was one of my favorite games. I put so much time into it, so I'm just ready for more Legends. I'm very excited about that. But yeah, other than that, Mirdo, the next question or the next thing was about the mega reveals. So apparently we are talking about those, but we're gonna do a quick fire. Which one is your favorite out of all the ones revealed so far?
I did pull up the images because I haven't had a good look at the starter ones, but I think I like the what's his name, Chestnut, the best. I believe.
Chestnut is so good.
It's a really tough call. I need to see them in motion again, but the Delphox and the Chestnut, I think. But I am generally more drawn to Chestnut, I think, just naturally.
Yeah, I love.
It's really cool
design. I'm a grass starter guy, so I completely get that.
Yeah.
Hawlucha is my favorite. It's all my favorite lucha wrestlers like rolled into one. On top of it being Hawlucha anyway, who I already love as a Pokemon. He's one of my absolute favorites. So yeah, I'm definitely into that. We do mentioning the reveals, but I did mention a minute ago. I don't know how many more are supposed to be revealed, but we definitely don't know what the starters are yet because, well, the starter final Mega Evolutions are because they will have them. We did have Hisui versions of the starters from Legends, and they were fine. They were cool designs, don't get me wrong, but one of them was Decidueye, and that you can't improve on perfection, so it was never going to be good. So whether we have a Colossian version of the starters or the final evolutions, I don't know, but we will have megas. So that'll be interesting. I imagine you won't have a regional and a mega. I think it'll just be mega, but yeah, there's stuff to come. So
yeah, probably.
Next time we talk about megas on podcast, maybe we have something to talk about as a new reveal. Who knows? And unless Mirdo's got anything else he wants to talk about after the fact, I just want to bring it up again because it is important, because this is where these podcasts go on the channel. And I might change that soon. I might give it its own channel before too much longer. But yes, I've gone from Jester TCG to Ace Trainer Jester because I've earned that title, damn it, and I'm going to take it. But also, I am looking at doing more stuff with Pokemon that isn't just TCG as well. I do want to do playthroughs of some of the older games. I do want to do some more excursions into VGC. I'm doing a stream today as of publishing, which is my first ever playing of Showdown. So yeah, gonna be expanding a bit more into Pokemon in general. Basically, I was bad at TCG, so I thought, why not just make it look like I can't put all my time into TCG by doing other stuff with Pokemon? That's how I get them. How come you've never day 2'd, Liam? I mean, I play VGC, I've been playing Legends. I put 45 hours into Pokopia because leopard berries were 400 Pokecoin this week, so I've been making sure to grind them up. You know, it's all the important stuff. So yeah, it's not a difficult name change because most people call me Jester. I'm still known as Jester to most people. Some of you call me Liam. With the change over to different handles, this is more important because of the Championship Series, but the at Jester TCG handle will now be used exclusively for Pokemon TCG and VGC tournaments on Limitless. So any results and things will be posted on there, any updates to anything going on. That'll all be on there in one place. And then my new handle is Trainer Jester, because I'm Jester and I'm into trainers. I could have gone Sneaker Jester, then maybe I would have caught a whole different audience, but I stuck with Trainer because I thought I'm from the UK. I don't want to confuse anybody. So when you see me wearing new Nike Air Ones,
we get it. The joke is shoes. We get it.
I'm training shoes. I'm sorry, this joke is terrible. I'm going to leave it in as an example of how bad my comedy can be. Comedy. Wow, I'm gonna censor that. So, good job, Mirdo. Well done. Why are you trying to get rid of my monetization? Like, I don't understand.
What money?
Yeah, true. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed today's podcast, all of our social media links are in the description below. I've been Jester, or Liam, if you're nasty.
I'm Mirdo. I'm semi-successful at the card game. Follow me at Mirdo at TCG, not at TCG, at Mirdo TCG on Twitter.com.
He was #1 in Germany at one point this year.
Yeah, now I'm not anymore.
But he was at one point.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen,
a month ago.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next one, which will definitely be maybe next week. Bye!